श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम ओम सच्चिदानंद रूपाय कृष्णाय क्लिष्टकारिणे नमो वेदांत वेद्याय गुरवे बुद्धिसाक्षिणे. So we were seeing the first shloka, the first mantra, first shloka or first mantra. You can say it as mantra also because we said that it is a japa mantra. Okay, so the first one is Shri Vaishampayana Uvacha Shrutva Dharman Asheshena Pavanani Cha Sarvashaha Yudhishthira Shantanavam Punarevabhyabhashata. Okay, so here in this Shrutva Dharman, that is what is the key point. After listening to the dharmas, dharma, what is dharma? So Bhagavan Bhashyakara defined dharma as abhyudaya nishreyasa hetu bhutan chodana lakshana. Abhyudaya nishreyasa hetu bhutan. What is dharma? Dharma is that which is hetu bhutan, which is the cause for what? Abhyudaya and nishreyasa. Abhyudaya means the well-being, welfare in this world, and nishreyasa means in the other worlds or beyond the world, whichever way. Because for others it is those people who accept the heaven, etc., for them it is other world. For us who don't accept any world except the Brahman, except the self, for us beyond the world. Okay, now so while discussing this, the first mantra, we said in Parashara Bhatta, the opponent's view, that is there he concluded with saying, just because something is a pramana does not mean that it should be accepted. That the sadhus, the noble people, they will not accept it just because it is pramana. Pramana means simply said valid proof. Okay, just because it is a valid proof does not mean that the noble people will accept it. They will accept only those things in which the acharya has a wish, desire, or acharya is attracted to, or the acharya follows. Whatever the acharya likes and whatever the acharya follows is accepted as pramana by noble people. That is what is simply said. By noble people, whatever is accepted by acharya and whatever is practiced by acharya is pramana, not just because it is pramana they accept it. That is a wrong statement, we said. Why? See, in the dualist or semi-dualist system, they accept the acharya as the important one. Like I said, even if the guru comes, acharya is. That does not mean that we Vedantins don't accept the guru or acharya as important. They are synonyms, guru, acharya, whatever you want to say. Just that does not mean we don't accept the acharya's words. We do accept. In fact, we also have a statement saying bhava advaitam sada kuryat kriya advaitam na karhichit. Bhava advaitam sada kuryat kriya advaitam na karhichit. Meaning the advaita bhavana, the intuition or the idea of advaita, non-duality, should always be there, but not during the activities. In the activities, you should not see the non-duality. You have to perform, you have to differentiate one from other and perform accordingly. Okay, now though, so we give importance, and in fact we saw Bhagavan Bhashyakara himself wrote the second invocation, Mangalacharana, for Vyasa. Vyasaya Gurave Namaha, Vande Vyasaya, like that. Now, therefore, we do accept the importance of acharya. That does not mean we don't accept the pramanas, even though if it is pramana. You cannot. But first, what is pramana? And why are we fighting? Because we are talking about dharma. We are talking about dharma. What is dharma? That which is gives the well-being here and well-being hereafter is what is dharma is. Okay. But who said that this is dharma? Why? Just because you declare that this is dharma does not make something a dharma. See, in the world, whatever we accept as dharma is not a same thing. Like some places, something is dharma, and in other places, that very thing is adharma. It's not dharma. It's the contrary. And whatever we practice as dharma is not dharma in other places. And in some time, whatever is practiced as dharma or adharma becomes otherwise later in a different period of time. So, the worldly view of dharma and adharma cannot be accepted to fix what is dharma and adharma. So, we have to understand what dharma is. So, we say, just because you declare this is what is dharma does not mean that you have established dharma. Because just declaration does not establish anything. You just loudly say, repeatedly say something does not mean it is established. So you have to establish it. How do we establish something? Lakshana pramanabhyam vastu siddhi na pratignya matrena lakshana pramanabhyam vastu siddhi. Just because you declare does not mean it is established, but you can establish only through the lakshana and pramana. Lakshana means definition, pramana means the proof, valid proof. I said. What is pramana? Pramayaha karanam pramanam. That is the definition for pramana. Pramayaha karanam pramanam. Prama means right knowledge, valid knowledge. Karanam means instrument. So that which is means instrument for right knowledge, valid knowledge is pramana. That which is means for right knowledge, that which is instrument for right knowledge, that which is means for valid knowledge, that which is instrument for valid knowledge is a pramana. Now, this pramana is accepted by different people, different philosophers in different numbers. Like generally everyone accepts pratyaksha, the direct perception, to be pramana. Direct perception, pratyaksha means the knowledge gained through the sense organs. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and touching. So these are called as pratyaksha pramana, direct perception. Then comes inference. Inference means something which you have. We say vyapti jnana, knowledge of concomitance. Meaning something which you see coexists always. That coexistence, the knowledge of, with that knowledge of coexistence, you understand something somewhere is called as a anumana, inference. Like you see the smoke and fire coexist. Therefore, you interpret that wherever there is smoke, there is fire, not the otherwise. Wherever there is fire, there is smoke. No, because I don't see it in my gas stove. There is fire, but there is no smoke. You don't see it in the induction stove. There is fire, there is no smoke. So, wherever there is smoke, there is fire. This is the concomitance. I have this knowledge. When I see the smoke, immediately I understand that there is fire. That is inferential knowledge. Okay. Then we have upamana. Upamana means a comparative knowledge. Knowledge of comparison. The similarities. Now, I see, I know I have the knowledge of cow. I know the cow, but I don't know what oxen is. So when I ask someone, someone says, "Oh, oxen is similar to your cow. It exists in forest." When I enter the forest, when I am in the forest, I see cow, but it is not a cow actually. So I understand this looks similar to my cow. Therefore, this should be the oxen. Okay. That is knowledge through the knowledge of similarity called upamana. Now then there is shabda. Shabda can be laukika and alaukika. Shabda can be worldly and non-worldly. Worldly shabda is a aptavakyam, the statement from the person who speaks the truth. Aptavakyam, a trustworthy person, a statement from the trustworthy person. When he says, you accept it as it is. That is what is the worldly shabda jnana, verbal testimony. The non-worldly verbal testimony is the Shruti, the Vedas, Agama. Now, there are other pramanas like Artha, Patti, Anupalabdhi, etc., postulation, etc. But and there are other people who accept the Puranas as Pauranikas, accept the Puranas as the pramana. Some people accept Idihasa as the pramana. Some people accept Tantra as the pramana. There are many people accepting much more than this. Okay. So for us, these are the 4 or 3 commonly accepted pramanas. We'll just take these: direct perception, inference, similarity, and the agama, the or just the shabda pramana. 3 pramanas, not the similarities also. Pratyaksha, anumana, agama. These 3 verbal testimony, direct perception, inference, and verbal testimony. These are the 3 commonly accepted by everyone. So we'll accept these 3 for discussion here. Okay. Now, but why are we discussing all this? We wanted to understand what dharma is. A. For that, we wanted to understand what lakshana and pramana is. Because only through a lakshana definition and only through a pramana means of right knowledge, we can gain the knowledge of the object. Not just because you declare. We said this, right? In logical language, they have a statement: manadhina meya siddhi mana siddhischa lakshanat. The mana adhina meya siddhi. The meya, the prameya, the object of knowledge is dependent upon the pramana, the means of knowledge. And the means of knowledge is dependent upon the definition, lakshana. Okay, lakshana, pramana, then prameya. For understanding the object, you need the means. For understanding the means, you need a definition. That is what is the rule. So, if you have a pramana, then the prameya is known. You cannot ignore it. If you have your eyes, proper eyes with proper eyesight, then you cannot ignore the object in front of you. You cannot say, oh, I can't see, I won't see because my guru has not told me. You cannot say that. It is valid because you have no other option. Therefore, what he said, just because it is a valid proof, we can't accept unless it is validated by the acharya. That has many defects. Let me enumerate it. The first one, like I said, if you have a lakshana, a definition, and a pramana, means of right knowledge, then you have to have the knowledge. You cannot escape. This is the first problem. Second problem, if you say for the pramana, I need the validity of acharya, then there are so many errors. Let me explain. First, to validate the Vedas, you accept the validity of acharya. Okay. Now, who validates the acharya? Vedas. Then that is defect of interdependence, anyonya ashraya dosha. The Vedas depend upon the validity of acharya, and acharya's validity depends upon the Vedas. Okay. Now, no. Acharya's word is validated by his acharya. See, enough. Who validates that acharya? Vedas again. So this is called as chakraka dosha. Vedas validated by acharya 1, acharya 1 validated by acharya 2, his guru, and he is validated by the Vedas. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Like that, it is going on and on. That's a Chakraka dosha, defect, cyclic defect. Okay. Now, if you are not going to stop there, first Acharya validated by second, second by third, third by fourth, then that is called as a Anavastha dosha, regression ad infinitum. It will just go till infinity. There is no limit to it. So all these defects will come if you don't accept it as pramana directly. If you don't accept a pramana as pramana. Okay. Then more than that, there is another thing. See, just because an acharya does or accepts something does not validate it. There may be different reasons or different causes for acharya to do or accept, desire something. N number of reasons. That does not make it a valid proof. Because of his samskara, because of his thought imprints, because of his upbringing, anything can happen. So you cannot accept those to be valid proofs. Whatever he speaks, whatever he says when he goes on the stage, that can be accepted for even for these fellows, not their life. Okay, so there is this problem. Still, if you persist, then we'll have to ask one simple question to these Vishishtadvaitis. Where Vishishtadvaitis or Dvaitis, the dualist or semi-dualist, whatever that is, where did this philosophy come from? Do you know? The semi-dualist and the dualist philosophy came from Vedanta. How? From Advaita, Dvaita and Vishishtadvaita, how is it possible? Let me explain. Both Ramanuja and Madhva, both of these people, they were studying Advaita. They were not interested in giving up the form and attributed God. So they decided to go against the Guru. Both of them went against their own Guru. If you want to accept your Acharya as the proof, then you should have to in fact go against your Guru, not accept what your Guru follows. That's a problem, right? So just because your Acharya is interested or accepting something does not make it valid. Pramana is a pramana whether you accept it or not. That is established. Okay. What is Lakshana? What is the definition for Lakshana? In the Tarka, they give different thing. He gives a different thing. He says, Sajatiya Vijatiya Vyavartako Lakshyakataha Kachya Lakshana Prasidhya Akaraha Lakshana. What is Lakshana? Leave alone the Sajatiya, that which is different from the Sajati and Vijatiya, and some attribute quality which is accepted by everyone, which exists in that object, is what is Lakshana. Let me explain. Sajatiya means same class. Vijatiya means different class. By differentiating objects of same class and different class and specifying a special quality in that object is what is definition. Example. Do you remember that Swami who came, that bearded Swami who came, that monk with beard who came yesterday? Monk with beard? What kind of question is that? Because monks, they shave monthly once. So the third day they start having beard, and some people they don't even shave. So saying that monk with beard cannot establish the person you are talking about. Or there is a place called Tirupati where tonsuring is a very important kind of a service. They go, they pray as a penance, they give up their hair. It's easy to give up, it grows. So, but anyway, they go under, they pray for something, and they, when that is taken care of, they go and they tonsure their head, shave their head. Men, women, everyone, they shave their head. Now, in Tirupati, this is the place called Tirupati. In Tirupati, we are standing, and I'm saying, "Oh, that just catch that fellow, the fellow, the tonsured head one. It just went like in front of us. Shaved head, tonsured head went in front of us. You will see only shaven heads there. Only shaven heads. Everywhere there will be only shaven heads. There are thousands of people to shave. Get shaved, thousands. So it is very difficult to find a person with tonsured head, shaven head. So you have to specifically say what is his special quality. You should have to say, oh, there was this mark in his face, right? This big mark, that big black dot or bump in his face. That person. Oh, that's all. Okay, I understand. You cannot say, oh, the person with a tail, person with a tail, person with a tail. How can a person have a tail? A man or woman cannot have tail. We are not talking about animals. So, Vijatiya, different class. So, same class, bearded or tonsured, differentiate from them. Different class, like having tail, etc., differentiate from them. And specifically say a mark in the face, a mole in the face, a big black mole in the face. Symbol. That is the definition. When this, you know, something with this definition exists, then through the pramana, you gain the knowledge. Through the means of right knowledge, you gain the knowledge of the object. That is the normal way of applying the lakshana, applying the definition. Now, what is the example? Example we gave, in logic we say there are three defects. Defects of avyapti, ativyapti, asambhava. Avyapti, non-perverence. Ativyapti, over-perverence. Asambhava, impossible. Meaning, you define something, if it does not pervade the object of definition completely, then it is a avyapti. If it goes beyond the object and includes other objects, then it is ativyapti. If it is completely on the tangential side, on the other side of the object you are defining, that is called as asambhava. These are the three definitions. Okay, leave alone. Now let us say, I am saying that which has sasna. Sasna means the hanging flesh under the neck. That which has the hanging flesh under the neck is called as a cow. We call that sasna. That hanging flesh, we call it as sasna. That's a Sanskrit word. So you cannot say cow is an object, cow is an animal with, a cow is a bird. Asambhava. Cow is an animal with a single hoof. Wrong. Cow is a animal with four legs. Wrong. Because you are not just including cow, you are including dog, you are including cat, you are including the goats, etc. So, to define it properly, I am saying cow is one with which has the hanging flesh. Now, when you have that knowledge, when you use your sense organs to say, oh, this is cow, it has a hanging flesh. Over. So, you understand, right? Again, what are we discussing? We are discussing whether what we defined as dharma is proper or not. We said dharma is that which brings the well-being here and hereafter. Is that proper or not? That is what we are trying to understand. Okay, okay, now I understand. Now, the opponent says, the whole thing is a humbug. You cannot define this dharma. Why? You have to have a definition for understanding anything, but you cannot define it because it is beyond the scope of sense organs. The dharma is something which is not a object of sense organs. Since it is not an object of sense organs, it cannot be defined. Since it cannot be defined, you cannot understand it through any pramana. See, you cannot understand it through the direct perception, the sense organs, because it does not have a form, etc. Only the forms you can see, only the sound you can hear, only the smell you can. Only that which has fragrance you can smell, only which that has taste you can taste with your tongue, only that which has touch you can feel. Now, the dharma does not have any of these qualities. Therefore, you cannot use your sense organs. Direct perception is invalid. Inference, inference also is invalid because there is no concomitance, there is no connectivity. The vyapti jnana, concomitance knowledge. Wherever there is smoke, there is fire. You cannot find like that because it is not an object of sense organs. Say. So, inference is dependent upon pratyaksha, direct perception. Therefore, it cannot function. Similarly, the shabda, the apta vakya, the worldly shabda, that cannot be accepted because you say, I say, I, okay, over. So it cannot be defined because you have one. If you want to accept we have to come to a common ground. I don't want to come to a common ground with you. Simple, over. You whatever you say is wrong. How can you establish to me that it is what is dharma's definition is? Okay, then the other only that is also is not possible because there is no logic to establish that what it says is right here. So the agama also cannot establish the worldly verbal testimony also cannot establish, inference cannot establish, the pratyaksha cannot establish, everything else is based on these, therefore they cannot establish. Simply put, dharma is not something which you can discuss. Dharma is not something which you can establish. Therefore, there is no possibility of explaining these kind of things. You cannot establish dharma through the lakshana and pramana. By saying dharma means this is useless. You cannot define dharma. For that, we say Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.